Welcome to 7 Slow Minutes, a place where we take 7 minutes, slow down, and look at the world of economics from a different angle. Not the dry numbers on financial news tickers, not confusing jargon, but real questions. Why does my money seem to buy less every year? What's really behind the price you see at the gas pump or on your rent statement, the part no one says out loud? Where does prosperity come from, and what does it actually cost? In each episode, we'll take a familiar economic phenomenon from everyday life in North America and look behind the curtain to understand the logic underneath. Today, we start with a question that governments, media, and everyday people are all debating. When prices rise, should we rush to step in and cool things down? The answer is not as simple as it seems. 1. Prices are signals, and signals can be distorted. In microeconomics, prices are not random numbers. They function like a traffic light system for the entire economy. When the price of something rises, it usually reflects one of two realities. Demand is increasing, or supply is shrinking. When price signals work properly, markets adjust on their own. Businesses see higher profits and produce more. Consumers see higher prices and pull back or look for alternatives. This is what Adam Smith once called the invisible hand, and what Friedrich Hayek later described more precisely. The price system is how millions of scattered pieces of information get coordinated without anyone being in charge. But here's the catch. Price signals only work well when the problem is about incentives. When the constraint is physical or technical, higher prices don't magically fix anything. Take the oil crisis of the 1980s. Prices surged after OPEC restricted supply. Producers in the US and Canada responded. They expanded production. Supply increased, and prices eventually came back down. That's the price mechanism, working exactly as intended. 2. Two very different kinds of price increases. Here's where things get confusing, even for people who follow economics. Not all price increases are the same. Relative price increases, only certain goods become more expensive. That's usually healthy. It means the market is adjusting. General inflation, prices rise across the entire economy. That's a completely different problem. When it's just relative prices, heavy intervention often does more harm than good. But when inflation spikes, like the US hitting 9.1% in 2022, central banks do need to act. Just not by forcing prices down. Instead, they raise interest rates. Borrowing becomes more expensive. Spending slows down. Demand weakens. And over time, prices stabilize. It's not fast, it's not painless, but it's sustainable.
3. When governments fix prices, history
has already answered. History offers a very clear lesson. In 1971, President Richard Nixon imposed nationwide wage and price controls. On paper, it worked. In reality, things fell apart. Products disappeared from shelves. Black markets emerged. Businesses stopped producing because there was no longer any profit left. By 1974, the policy was abandoned. And during the 1973 oil crisis, price controls didn't solve the shortage. They made it worse. Long lines at gas stations across the United States. The lesson is simple. When you force prices below market levels, you tell producers to make less and consumers to use more. That's how shortages happen. 4. But no intervention isn't the full answer either. Now, to be fair, economics isn't black and white. No serious economist believes governments should do nothing. There are moments when intervention makes sense. First, when markets are dominated by monopolies. Second, during short-term crises. Third, and most importantly, instead of controlling prices, support people directly. Help those who are struggling without breaking the signals that keep the market working. So the real question is not, should we intervene, but how, for how long, and for what purpose. 5. Lessons for today and the real cost. Since 2021, the U.S. and Canada have faced the highest inflation in decades. Central banks raised interest rates. Inflation has come down, but let's be honest. There is no such thing as a free solution. Higher rates cooled inflation, but housing markets froze. Borrowing costs surged, and many young people were pushed further away from home ownership. That is the real cost of policy. And it rarely shows up in headlines. And this is what we'll continue to explore in 7 slow minutes. Not just whether policies work, but who benefits, who pays, and why. Thank you for spending 7 slow minutes with us. See you in the next episode, 7 Slow Minutes.